Spurrier's Gridiron Grill Studio. WRUF Gainesville. W251CG Gainesville. WRUF FM HD2. And on the WRUF radio app. This program is paid for by Weeby Marketing. The godfather of Gator Sports Talk Radio has returned.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
It's Sports Scene with Steve Russell. Time to eat some lunch and talk some Gator sports.
Sports Scene with Steve Russell is fueled by Southeast Car Agency and brought to you in part by International Diamond Center, Domino's, Atlantic Roofing, Meldon Law, Los Linderos Tequila, Comfort Temp, Campus USA Credit Union, Pomodoro Cafe, Titan MRI and Imaging, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogra State Farm, Miapa Latin Cafe, Radware, Fairlife Milk, Gator Trim Lights, Quality Plumbing, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker, and the Head Beer Coach.
Now, here's Steve Russell, right here on WRUF.
It is time to eat some lunch and talk some sports. Welcome into a Tuesday edition of Sports Scene. As you listen on WRUF, Charlie is our producer today. We thank you for taking time of your busy day to join us. We come to you live from the Gator Trim Light Studio, now with full color landscape lighting. They can do a full landscape install. They can light your home orange and blue if you want. Man, they make it look pretty. You can find out more by going to GatorTrimLight.com. We are also fueled by Southeast Car Agency in Gainesville, 310 Northeast 39th Avenue, the best in late model, low mileage vehicles. When you go see the Cousins boys in person, make sure and tell them Sports Scene sent you. Got a lot to do today. Now, these next few days going to be a little squirrely, okay? Today, Graham Hall's going to join me, and then Graham is going to take over for me because I'm hopping on the bus, Gus, and going to Jacksonville, getting ready to call Florida State tonight. Tomorrow, a normal day. Graham will be here Thursday as we fly the friendly skies to Fayetteville to get ready for baseball. And then Friday, we'll do Hoop There It Is from Fayetteville, the final one with Mark Wise at noon Friday. And then we'll do Sports Scene 1 to 2. And then next week, hopefully, we are back to normal. Now, remember, all of our calls today on the Titan MRI Imaging phone line, 3 locations in Gainesville, 1 in Lake City to serve you better. You can find out more at TitanMRI.com. The email, srussell@WRUF.com, is brought to you by International Diamond Center, the official jeweler of the Florida Gators. Great variety of designer engagement rings, wedding bands, watches, and a whole lot more. And our guests are always brought to you by Meldon Law, serving Gator Nation since 1971. Meldon Law won't back down. And want to thank Quality Plumbing for sponsoring the first hour of the show today. When you need a quality plumber, rely on the same company Gainesville's trusted since 1984. Quality Plumbing, their name says it all. You can call us, 392-8255. Again, the email, srussell@WRUF.com. We bring Graham in now. Graham, you were there. You saw it unfold. I know you were getting ready to go to Houston, like a lot of other people were, had to change plans. You know, if you didn't have a dog in the race, so to speak, and just saw the locker room, and you know that's how it is whenever your season ends. If you don't, everybody's not happy except one team. What was that like?
Uncomfortable, I think would be the way I would put it. It's tough. I always feel a little bit awkward interviewing guys after a loss. You know, we have a job to do, and to their credit, they understand that and respect it. And I appreciate anyone who will talk to me, especially after an embarrassing moment, an upsetting moment, whatever it is. But that was a brutal scene. These guys did not expect to have that happen to them this early. In front of a home crowd, pretty much, in Tampa, in their own backyard. And they got beat in pretty embarrassing fashion. And when I say that, I mean that they kind of got beat at their own game. You know, you can lose a game and not feel as bad if a team just hits 14 of 23 pointers against you. I mean, that's just the other team's night. But when you're a team like Florida that has the best front court in the nation, and you've built your brand of basketball on out-physicaling other teams, winning the rebounding battle, getting out in transition, and you fail to do all those things and the other team does a better job in the low post than you, when you have a size advantage, you're shocked, you're stunned, and you're a little bit embarrassed. And that's what it felt like to me after the game. Micah Handlogden was in tears, which was tough to see. I haven't seen him in tears since 2 years ago when he saw his season cut short in devastating fashion at the SEC tournament when he suffered that broken leg against Auburn. That may have been his final college game ever. He now is kind of in purgatory, in a sense, waiting on the NCAA to figure out what they are going to do with his medical hardship waiver. He's a guy who may have just seen his college career come to an end in upsetting, embarrassing fashion. I keep using that word, but that's what it was. Ruben Chinyelu was inconsolable. And you're supposed to be objective as a journalist, but as a human, how can that not break your heart to see a guy who felt like he failed his team with, I think he would tell you, his worst performance of the season?
Without question.
And he had been so good all season long at not just being effective in cleaning up around the rim, affecting other teams' attempts around the rim on the defensive end, but staying out of foul trouble. He didn't do any of those things. And I'm not trying to attack him or really even criticize him too much. It's just the reality. He had 4 fouls, didn't score, and had 1 rebound. This is one of the nation's best rebounders. He entered the game 6th in the country in rebounds. He set the Florida all-time single-season program record for offensive rebounds in a season. He's one of the top 10 players on the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year semifinalist watch list. And he didn't show up in a do-or-die scenario. I feel for him. I understand why he's being criticized, but watching him talk about how he wished he could have done more while he is sobbing and coaches are trying to console him, it was heartbreaking.
Yep, it is. Let's go to our Titan MRI imaging phone line. Daryl, hello.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Hey, I have a comment about Gator basketball and then college basketball in general. And, Steve, I have a comment about Gator baseball to you.
Sure.
Hey, look, sometimes you just got to tip your hat to the other team, man. They out-physical us the other night, and Iowa took it to us, and my confidence level was up and down like a roller coaster. And, you know, it's March Madness, guys. I mean, I hate it, but, hey, Iowa took it to us and beat us.
Well, they were 3-9 coming into the tournament in their last 12 games. So who would have thought they would have done that? But look, the key, I don't know about you, Graham, but the key number to me, as you mentioned about Florida's front court, they were even in rebounding. I mean, give Iowa credit for that. Whether you discredit Florida or you give credit to Iowa, either way, that to me was the key stat of the game.
I agree. I think they only had 9 rebounds in the second half, and that allowed Florida to make up the deficit in the first half. And then the points in the paint, you know, go back to that Prairie View A&M game. Florida outscored the Panthers, and again, it's Prairie View A&M. They were around, 280 in KenPom going into the game, which is the worst team that Florida has faced since the calendar turned to 2026. Florida outscored Prairie View A&M in the paint 38-0. 2 days later, Iowa, who didn't have anyone playing over 6'10", has more paint points in the first half than the Gators do. And that's just not a recipe for success. You look at all the losses that Florida had this year, they either got out-rebounded or beat in the paint. So that's the way to beat Florida, and I did not think Iowa would be able to do it. And so like you said, Daryl, you got to just tip your cap to them. They beat Florida. It wasn't any fluky stuff, and we can talk about the punch from Alvaro and whether he even should have been in the game, but they can't do anything about that. He was in the game, and then he hits a game-winning shot. Yeah, you got to tip your cap to him, as tough as that is to accept.
Yeah. Hey, general basketball question before I get to baseball real quick. I got a coworker of mine. He's a Tar Heel fan, and we were talking about, you know, the coaching situation up in Chapel Hill with Hubert Davis, and if they do let go of him, he said, I'm going to throw a name out at you you ain't going to believe. I said, well, throw it out. Do you think they'd pursue somebody like Billy Donovan?
I think they would be blessed to get Billy Donovan. What kind of intrigues me is they just went through this, and I don't want to call a guy like Billy Donovan archaic, but they just went through hiring kind of an old-timer head coach in Bill Belichick, and I'll be quite honest, that kind of looks like a disaster to me right now. I don't know if Billy wants to come back, and he could. He very well might want to. I mean, we'll see how long he lasts in Chicago, but look at how much the game has changed in college since Billy has been coaching in the sport. He's going to have to fundraise. He's going to have to negotiate the transfer portal. This is a guy who locked the gym when his players weren't doing what he wanted 15 years ago. That may not fly in today's day and age.
And the other thing, does he even want to do that?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's what he left. And I think his job is safe, even though he's not done great, because they, for the first time, made a conscious effort to tear their roster down. They got bad. That's not Billy's fault. Now, do they want to go with somebody else in that roster breakdown? We'll find out. I mean, to your point, did they make a call to him? Yeah, but I don't know that he wants to come in back to this.
Yeah, I do think it's more likely, and maybe this reassures people out there, I think it's more likely that Billy Donovan is a candidate than Todd Golden's a candidate. I mean, it could happen, but Todd is extremely happy in Gainesville. He's experienced more success than UNC has as of late. He's just negotiated a contract extension. Maybe there's an increase in pay down the line for him at some point to keep him in Gainesville and keep him happy. But let's remember, Todd Golden, and I don't know how well documented this is, but Todd said it, he grew up a Duke fan. Imagine what his family and it's going to be like for him if he goes to UNC, Duke's #1 rival, and tries to lead that program. I think there's going to be something inwardly in him that makes him pause a little bit. Also, is he going to reach the mountaintop at UNC, at a higher rate than at Florida? I mean, he's already been here. I just don't. It doesn't make much sense to me.
All right, Darryl, what else you got?
Hey, Steve, real quick, daughter and I and grandson's going up to the baseball game tonight. So hopefully the little conversation that Sully had with the team generates some fire in them tonight against FSU. So we'll see. I'll carry my headset radio and listen to you and Jeff on the broadcast.
All right. We appreciate that. Thank you, Darryl. JB, welcome.
Yeah, hey, just one real quick comment. Earlier you said, watching Chinyelu after the game, how heartbreaking that was. This is the first chance I've had to make this comment, but I thought it was classless personally. The media sticking the microphone in his face and a camera in his face. It was pretty obvious the kid wasn't, the young man wasn't prepared to discuss what had just happened. And I just thought it was classless on the part of the media to do what they did. So that was my only comment. Thank you, gentlemen. I'll be here listening.
Well, hang on, JB. I'll let Graham answer that.
JB, I totally know where you're coming from. Like I said before those comments, it's uncomfortable for me. The media has a job to do, and that's unfortunately one of the tough parts of it. And I've heard people make the argument that, they're paid college players now. In the NBA, they're going to have a camera in their face every single game, 82 games a year. It's time to experience this. I'm still uncomfortable doing it. I feel bad, absolutely, that it happens. I think it's easier to do for the media who respects these players as people, but there's a lot of media that shows up for the NCAA tournament who doesn't know them, and it's easier for them to stick a camera in their face. And I'm not trying to take shots at anyone out there, but that's just the reality of it. It was tough to see. Ruben's not the first one to experience it, but yeah, it makes me uncomfortable. Kudos to Ruben, though, for even talking to the media while he was crying. That's where I had a lot of respect for him for doing that.
Absolutely, and again, I get it that the media's got a gig. Okay, that's their job. That's what you do. You go in there. There's got to be a line in my mind. There's got to be a line that you just don't cross. And sometimes I think that, and this was one of the more, in my opinion, one of the more egregious incidents of this. I mean, so he's not a pro. Okay, yeah, he's getting paid, but he's not in the league yet. Okay, and so I don't know. I just thought they crossed the line.
Here's the devil's advocate for you. If Ruben Chinyelu has the worst game of his college career and then doesn't speak to the media and there's no clips out there, social media is running with the narrative that Ruben Chinyelu didn't face the noise after the worst game and maybe his last game of his college career. So it's kind of a no-win situation for him in a sense.
All right, JB, got to run. Thank you for your call. We'll take a break, come back. More to come as you listen to Sports Scene on WRUF.
WRUF Sports Center.
I'm Miranda Vargas. Florida Baseball is headed to Jacksonville as they play their second game against Florida State tonight. The Gators are out of the D1 baseball rankings after being swept by Alabama last weekend, but they have proven themselves capable of a win after going 6-3 in their first game against FSU. Head coach Kevin O'Sullivan said he's interested to see how these next games will test his players.
We're going to figure out how tough we are this week with Florida State and having to travel to Arkansas. So I'm looking forward to the week, and I'm looking forward to see which guys are going to bring energy and which guys are going to respond.
First pitch is at 6 p.m. and coverage here starts at 5:55. In other news, Florida women's basketball has hired Rhode Island's Tammi Reiss as their new head coach. A former All-American player for the Virginia Cavaliers, Reiss has led Rhode Island to their first appearance in the NCAA Tournament in 30 years. Her work has earned her the honor of Atlantic Top 10 Coach of the Year this season.
Friends, if somebody's been in business for 45 plus years, doesn't that tell you something? Trust, longevity. Well, that is the case with my friends at Southeast Car Agency in Gainesville. The Cousins family has operated that business for the past 45 plus years, and they specialize in just one thing. They give you the best alternative you have to purchasing a new vehicle, the best in late model, low mileage vehicles. Great variety, great selection. I'm driving one now, have been for years. Go see them today, Southeast Car Agency, 310 Northeast 39th Avenue, Gainesville.
Gator Nation, ready to light it up? Gator Trim Light has already brightened homes and businesses across North Florida, and now they're bringing the heat with full color landscape lighting. Light up your palm trees, bushes, pools, patios, barbecue decks, everything in orange and blue. Whether it's a back porch retrofit or a full custom landscape install, Gator Trim Light makes your home game day ready. Turn your patio into the ultimate victory zone and cheer your Gators on to a big win. Visit GatorTrimLight.com. That's GatorTrimLight.com. Gator Trim Light. Let there be Gator Light.
In the mood for a delicious Asian fusion cuisine for lunch? Then head to P.F. Chang's in Gainesville. They have lunch specials starting at just $11.99. Happy hour, Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. Enjoy $5.99 beers, $6.99 wines, and $8.99 cocktails. Wednesdays are girls' night with half-price wine and champagne bottles. And any day, anytime, sip house and lucky cocktails for $8.99. Celebrate every meal at P.F. Chang's Gainesville, your destination for lunch, drinks, and fun.
It's lunchtime and nobody does lunch like Pomodoro Cafe. From Italian dishes to subs and salads, and favorites like their pressed ciabatta pesto chicken with fries, grilled chicken, assorted roast peppers, mushrooms, mozzarella, and pesto aioli.
This is Steve Russell sharing with you one of my favorite lunch spots, Pomodoro Cafe, located in the Spring Hill Publix complex on 39th Avenue near I-75. Enjoy Pomodoro Cafe today.
And don't forget, they cater online at pomodorocafe.com.
Hey, have you ever talked to Ruse Agra over at State Farm?
Oh yeah, Ruse is awesome. Helped me get a ton of coverage for way less than I expected, and he serves all of North Florida. Super friendly too, actually takes time to explain everything.
Really? I thought State Farm would be pricey.
No, surprisingly great rates. You get that neighborly service you don't find everywhere. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I might give Ruse at State Farm a call.
You should. Call 352-240-1779 for a free quote. You'll be glad you did.
Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Craving real Cuban flavor? Come to Mi Apa Latin Cafe, where every bite brings you home. From our juicy roast chicken with yellow rice and black beans, our breakfast options to sweet plantains, empanadas, and our iconic Cuban cafecito, we've got what your taste buds are waiting for. And with 6 locations, there's sure to be one near you serving up warm hospitality and authentic breakfast, lunch, or dinner vibes whenever hunger strikes. So head over to Mi Apa Latin Cafe, the best Cuban food north of Miami. Visit miapalatincafe.com or stop by your nearest location today.
In the heart of Gator Country, some things are built to last. Traditions, family, and real wood furniture. At Would You Furniture, we believe furniture should be more than something you replace every few years. It should be something you pass down, built to last generations. Choose beautifully finished pieces or ready-to-finish furniture you can make your own. Would You Furniture. Real wood, real quality, right here in our community. Come visit our new showroom on Main Street, just north of our previous location, or online at wouldyougagainesville.com.
You're listening to Sports Scene with Steve Russell, right here on WRUF, 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and anywhere in the world on the WRUF mobile app.
Don't forget, if you have Facebook Live questions or courtesy of Bruce Oakwood State Farm, your go-to agent in Gainesville, North Central Florida for car, home, casualty, and life insurance. YouTube questions from Campus USA Credit Union, where Coach Spurrier does his banking, serving our community for 90 years. And a new way to contact the show via text, courtesy of B&D Electric. The number is 352-325-3777. Just put your name on it, and I'll read it, just like I'm going to do with Art. He said, do you think Golden got out-coached? We couldn't stop a layup. That's not true, but...
Oh, that's tough. I mean, I wouldn't put all the blame on Todd Golden, just like he is quick to give the credit to his coaching staff. You know, Todd wasn't the one who developed the scout. I'm not going to say who was. I thought he made some great decisions in game. I thought using the full court press for the final 9 minutes was great. Maybe not the last 10 seconds. We could debate that, certainly. Yep. But I thought the adjustments they made in the game, the design to get to the rim in the second half, gave them a chance to get back in that game. But to quote them, they got punked in the first half. I don't know if that was so much coaching as just give Iowa credit for their game plan. They just outplayed Florida.
See, that sometimes I think we're all guilty of that. Fans, the other team doesn't get any. It's always what you don't do. How about what they do? And right. they played a terrific first half. Woody, welcome.
Yeah, hey, guys. That expression, they got punked, kind of fits in with what I was going to ask. I know your instant reaction is you're going to probably want to interrupt me and say no. But I want to know, when you were introducing Graham, you said, you know, everyone expected to be in Houston. I'm wondering if somewhere especially the first half, they entered the game just a little too confident, like assuming, okay, we got this. They're 3-9 their last 12, 9 seed. You know, do you think they just weren't into it yet?
You were there.
Played into it at least. Did
you sense that?
I think it's possible, but I'm not convinced of it. I think that, and Todd can say whatever he wants, this is just my opinion, I think them losing to Vanderbilt in the SEC tournament was a good wake-up call for this team, that they are not unbeatable. If they get complacent, if they commit turnovers, if they don't get second chance opportunities, a team can beat them by 17. And maybe that complacency came back a little bit when they, whipped Prairie View by 59 points or whatever it was. I'm not totally certain, but I talked to a couple assistant coaches right before the Prairie View A&M game, because there's a couple coaches who were out there who were scouting the Iowa-Clemson game. And both of those assistants told me that even though those teams are an 8 and 9 seed, these are two really, really good teams who play a great style of basketball. They had a lot of respect for Iowa going into that game. Now, how much that translated to how the players implemented that message in game, I can't speak to that. Only they can. But I do know that Florida had a ton of respect for Iowa. I don't want to take anything away from what Iowa did. It's disappointing for Florida, but it was a great game by Iowa. Bennett Sturts has played 40-plus minutes in so many. Yeah, they played a great game. They hit shots. They got to the rim. They limited Florida's second chance opportunities. I mean, they played nearly a perfect game to following the recipe of how to beat Florida. And you got to tip your cap.
Yeah, I just remember, at least at halftime, I was saying out loud, I was like, I don't recognize these guys. What are they doing? And I was trying to think of a reason why. And I know Iowa was doing their thing and all that, but I just was trying to come up with a reason why. Sometimes you just get beat, you have a bad night. But, I mean, to have Ruben disappear, if you'd have told me that Ruben Chinyelu would have had that kind of game, I would have said, no, that's some walk-on you're talking about. There were so many unusual things, specific incidences, missing dunks, layups, things that we haven't done much of all year long. And I'm thinking, no, they're not going to do that in this game, the one-and-done game. I was just looking for a possible reason, other than the obvious that we just got whipped, at our own game, which sucks, but it happens, and maybe it's one of those learning curve things for a young coach. It's okay, All
right, what else you got? What do we got other calls here?
Yeah, quickly, I just wanted to ask if you would consider, Steve, doing a Hoops There It Is type show once a week with someone, say, like a Nick Belmonte, someone connected to the Gators, and do it in the baseball, softball realm.
Woody,
appreciate it.
We've been doing that for years. Years. I can't tell you how many years we've done it. Jeff Cardozo and I do it. It'll start very soon.
Sorry, I forgot. Thank you.
Okay, Woody.
Thanks, Woody.
Ed, welcome.
Hey, guys. After the dust settles, or whatever you want to call it, the draft-eligible guys, Chin, Condon, whatever, what do you think the probability is that they come back or consider it, and how much do you think it'll take to keep them?
Chin could come back, I think. How probably not where he is right now on a draft board. Condon, I think, is a tweener, right? Would you say?
I think there's a good chance that he's a late first-round guy, maybe early second-round guy.
Yeah. So, but they could. I mean, they could come back.
Yeah, they could come back. Now, Ed, I maybe I'm a little doom and gloom here, but I would prepare for the possibility that Florida has to replace its entire starting five. Boogie Fland, Rubin, Alex Condon all tested the NBA draft waters a year ago. They got feedback, and maybe with agents and representation in this day and age in college basketball, they realized that trying to go and develop at the next level and make some guaranteed money and try and get on a roster, somewhere, even if they go undrafted, is in their best interest. Now, I think that Rubin is a very interesting conversation because I think when we talk about Rubin Chinilu heading to the NBA draft, you have to use a little bit different parameters than you use for some other guys. This is someone who tested it last year. He has some people in his corner, I guess how I say this is, who are kind of pushing him to head to the next level. And he has some personal factors that may be motivating him, such as helping build generational wealth for his family, that may have him be inclined to head to the next level. He also is coming off of a fantastic season. I know that the Iowa game was not great, but he's the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. He's going to be in the short list for National Defensive Player of the Year, all SEC second-team guy. There is still a place in the NBA, even if it's declining, for defensive-minded, under-the-rim centers. So maybe he gets an opportunity. Now, with that said, people have compared him to Oscar Tshiebwe a lot, and Oscar doesn't really get minutes in the NBA. So maybe he wants to come back and keep working on expanding his offensive game. I don't know if he'll ever be a true jump shooter, but Andre Drummond was able to do it in the NBA. So with all that said, I would prepare for the possibility that at least all these guys test the NBA draft waters. If you get some of them back, that's an awesome building block for next year. But keep expectations low in my mind, not to be the bearer of bad news here.
No, I think you do that because it won't sting as much.
Yeah.
If they go, oh, they're back.
Yeah.
As a fan, great. Okay, Ed?
Yeah. Well, real quick, what do you think undrafted free agents and also the EuroLeague offer as far as initial contracts? Could we match that, or?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
They'll exceed it in NIL.
Yeah,
absolutely. So that's the factor. That gives you a chance to get guys back now.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Ed, thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
International Diamond Center email. Ken, can you tell me what Coach Golden's buyout is?
I think it's $16 million after April 15th. So if a program hires him before April 15th, they got to pay $16 million. So that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money, indeed. All right, we're going to take a break. Gator Shane, hang on. Graham's going to take over from here. I'm heading on the bus to go to Jacksonville for tonight's broadcast of Florida State Baseball. I will see you back here tomorrow, but more questions, comments for him, keep them coming as you listen to Sports Scene coming to you live from the Gator Trimlight Studio, fueled by Southeast Car Agency on WRUF.
This is former Gator quarterback Shane Matthews, and you're listening to the home of Gator Sports, WRUF, 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and 103.7 HD2.
It's never fun being injured, and with summer on the way, the last thing you want is lingering pain holding you back. Good news, you don't have to deal with long waits or high costs at Titan MRI and Imaging. At Titan MRI and Imaging, you're not just another patient. You're treated with care in a comfortable, personal setting. With 2 locations in Gainesville and 1 in Lake City, being pain-free is a short drive away, and they accept insurance. So don't sit out this summer. Get the scan you need and get back to enjoying it. Visit TitanMRI.com to learn more.
International Diamond Center's values are so compelling, it's not unusual to see people here that are not local.
Every day, we have people that drive an hour and a half, even 2 hours.
IDC owner Keith LeClaire.
People are willing to drive because they've heard it's not a typical jewelry store.
For example, did you know IDC has one of the largest selections of luxury pre-owned Rolexes in America?
You're going to want to come to IDC. It's worth the drive.
International Diamond Center in Celebration Point and online at shopidc.com.
Every great team is built on a solid game plan, sharp execution, and total trust in the crew beside you. At Quality Plumbing, we bring that same championship mindset to every job we do. For over 40 years, we've been the starting lineup for homes and businesses across North Central Florida, delivering reliable service, expert craftsmanship, and big wins for our customers. Call us today or visit qualityplumbing.com. We're your first string team. License number CFC 043073.
By now, you've heard about the Florida Legends Experience in Gila, featuring Gator Heisman greats Tim Tebow, Danny Werfel, and Steve Spurrier all in one place at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Imagine catching a pass or taking a handoff from a Heisman winner, all while supporting Isaiah 117 to help provide safe, loving homes for children in need. Then enjoy an unforgettable evening at the Gala, filled with great food and lasting memories. Don't miss this historic event. Find out how you and your business can get involved at fllegends.com. That's fllegends.com.
Gator fans, get ready to raise a glass for a perfect cause. Spurrier's Gridiron Grill is teaming up with UF Gymnastics head coach Jenny Rowland to bring you 2 brand new limited time drinks. Feel the heat with the fiery flip or stick the landing with the perfect 10 margarita. And here's the best part. $2 from every drink goes straight to support the Gator NIL Fund. Sip, support, and celebrate Gator greatness. But hurry, these signature drinks are only available for a limited time at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, where Gators come to win. There are plenty of realtors in town, but few work as hard, respond as quickly, or care as deeply as Doreen Wiebe of Caldwell Banker MM Parish. Community-driven and client-focused, Doreen will work with you to ensure your satisfaction. Whether you're buying or selling, she brings persistence, preparation, and heart to every deal. With Doreen, you're not just another transaction. You're a priority. Call 352-562-1411. That's 352-562-1411.
By now, you've heard about the Florida Legends Experience in Gila, featuring Gator Heisman greats Tim Tebow, Danny Werfel, and Steve Spurrier all in one place at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Imagine catching a pass or taking a handoff from a Heisman winner, all while supporting Isaiah 117 to help provide safe, loving homes for children in need. Then enjoy an unforgettable evening at the Gala, filled with great food and lasting memories. Don't miss this historic event. Find out how you and your business can get involved at fllegends.com. That's fllegends.com.
That's the buzzer. And on Hard Rock Bet, buzzer beaters mean bonus bets. Every time a team you bet to win or cover hits a game-winning buzzer beater, you score a $25 bonus bet, an extra $25 on top of your winnings. Just opt in and bet $5 on any team. As many teams as you want, all tourney. Win bonus bets at the buzzer, only on Hard Rock Bet.
Payable in bonus bets, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Your only home for Gator Baseball is WRUF 98.1 FM, 850 AM. Your home for Gator Sports.
All right, we are back on Sports Scene. Steve Russell is headed to Jacksonville for Florida Baseball, taking on FSU. Florida looking to complete the series victory against those Seminoles. The Gators got a win earlier, but are coming off of being swept by Alabama this past weekend. Kevin O'Sullivan's team looking to bounce back. We're broadcasting live from the Gator Trim Light studio. Everyone knows Gator Trim Light is the go-to for patented permanent holiday lighting. But did you know they do so much more? From pool enclosures and businesses to decks and landscape lighting, they've got you covered. Full color systems, fully programmable, right from your phone. Show off your orange and blue home. Sports Scene fueled by Southeast Car Agency. We're talking some basketball today. We'd love for you to call in. Baseball. Phone lines are open. Sponsored by Titan MRI and Imaging. Brought to you from 3 locations in Gainesville and 1 in Lake City to serve you better. Same-day scheduling is available. Call them for the best MRI and affordable prices. We had a question right before the break about Ruben Chinyelu, Alex Kahn, and Thomas Houck. Could they return to Gainesville for their senior seasons? It certainly is possible. I hear people gripe about NIL all the time. Every time I talk to the tip-off club, I'm wearing my nice tip-off club polo in here, and this is not to disrespect anyone in the tip-off club because they know how much I love them dearly. But sometimes they wince a little bit when I'm talking about transfer portal and NIL. They don't like it. Or not everyone. Some of them understand how essential it is in this day and age. But NIL actually, not only is it good for the players to get paid, in my opinion at least, but it gives you a chance to bring back guys who may have another year of eligibility. They understand that they could play 10, 15 years in the NBA, and they could make more and increase the money they make down the line by returning to a program. For Alex Condon, if you had asked me a month ago if I thought Alex Condon was coming back to Gainesville, I would have said there's a good chance. He was speaking in the locker room the day after Florida beat Prairie View A&M by 59 points. And Alex Condon said that it's probably 50-50 right now. I'll be quite honest, and no offense to Condon, I don't totally buy that. I think it's probably 80-20 he heads to the NBA. This is someone who made himself a ton of money, in my opinion, over the final month of the season. I mean, he was outright dominant. Ruben Chinilu had a couple of less effective games offensively than he had to start the season. Thomas Houck has been dealing with a foot injury, and Alex Condon stepped up. I mean, the amount of 20-10 games he had this season, I think he had 4 games of 20 points or more and 10-plus rebounds or more. The offensive shot from beyond the arc is going to continue to improve for him. He's a fantastic ball handler, in my opinion, even though he looks kind of, like a gazelle running down the court. They play through him at such a high rate, and how much he has improved his game overall in the last 5 years since he was a Australian Football League player with one offer coming to college, and spoiler, that was from the University of Florida. He has improved so much that I think some team is going to look at him and say, what is this guy going to look like in 5 years? Is he going to be like a Lauri Markkanen type player where he is stretching the floor, knocking down three-pointers at a high rate? Look at what he did at Florida in how many games has he played at Florida? Let's count it up. He's played probably about 100 games. He's going to play that many in one season in the NBA. If he improved that quickly in 3 years and 100-something games in Gainesville, what's he going to look like after his rookie season in the NBA? There's going to be a team that takes a chance on him. 6'11" guys who can dribble and pass and defend and have the mentality that he has are hard to come by in this day and age. Now, it's not impossible that he comes back, but it would take a lot of NIL money, in my opinion, and revenue sharing can help with that. Ruben Chinilu, like we talked about, is a little bit more of an interesting case in my mind. I think that Ruben, he tested the draft waters last year, and it's kind of a similar question for him when it comes to what scouts are asking. What can this guy look like after his rookie season? Look how much he improved in one off season. He got in better shape. He developed that little baby hook. I love watching that baby hook that he's got. He cleans up around the rim. He has fouled at a lower rate. Still needs to improve in that regard. I think the Iowa game was an indication of that. There are going to be some NBA teams who are going to look at him and say, we need you to play more than 20 minutes per night. We're going to need you to be a 25, 30-minute per night guy at the next level. And to do that, yeah, you're going to get one more foul a night, but we're going to need you to be able to stay on the floor for longer if you're ever going to be a true starting center rather than a role player in the NBA. But how much he improved defensively and offensively and got in better shape in the last year, some team is going to look at him and be like, man, what is this guy going to look like in a year? And so I think that that is going to work in his favor, and I do expect him to at least test the NBA draft waters. Let me say this also. I also see people all the time say, well, you know, if a guy's going to test the NBA draft waters, they're guaranteed to go. Not anymore. A decade ago, that was the case. Because it used to be that you had this deadline to return and you had to pull your name out and you could only do it once. Now you can kind of test it a couple of times, right? Underclassmen especially. They can test it after their freshman year, after their sophomore year, test it again after their junior year, figure it out what they want to do. And they're going to get valuable feedback on what they need to improve upon. And then they can go back to college and do that. Where it really gets interesting, and I know I'm kind of going on a diatribe here now, is if you're a coaching staff like Florida's and the portal opens on April 7th, you kind of need to know what is going to happen with the guys who are testing the NBA draft waters. Because then you have to sit there and not take someone else in the portal and maybe wait 6-7 weeks until the end of May where a guy's going to make their decision to return, and then maybe you've missed out on other players in the portal at their position. You're kind of gambling as a coach and banking on, yeah, this guy's testing, but he's coming back, so we're not going to fill his spot. You always can tell whether a coach thinks that the player is going to return based on if they address that position in the portal immediately after they declare. Last year, Todd Golden didn't do that with Alex Condon and Ruben Chinilu. They felt confident that they would get those guys back and supported them along the way and tried to keep selling them on coming back to Gainesville. You really have to kind of make a determination, go with your gut, get as much information as possible as a head coach, and then you can try and address it in the portal. So we'll know here pretty soon. Exit meetings are going to happen in Gainesville in the days to come with Florida men's basketball. They are currently in the middle of decompressing. It's been a long season, ended disappointingly. Guys are spending the last couple weeks around each other before they may go their separate ways and aren't teammates again. It's obviously going to be a time of change here, and I've tried to find some ways where people can be optimistic. And here's the one that I give everyone. I'm going to give you two. Florida's coaching staff, and I'm not saying that they weren't hungry, because Todd Golden wants to kick everyone's butt. He doesn't want to lose. If you ever watch those press conferences, and I don't know how many people out there pay attention to what us media folks are saying in the press conferences, but every time Todd Golden spoke after a game, even when they had won 12 in a row, he'd bring up that loss to Auburn. He would say, I still lose sleep over that. This is a guy that hates to lose. And now he's going to be dwelling on a loss to Iowa for the next 6 months. If Todd Golden could get any hungrier, the loss to Iowa will do that. Now that's kind of an intangible one right there. From actually something we can define in a bright side, if there is one at all, to Florida losing, it's that they're going to have additional time to attack the portal. Last year, Florida rightfully focused on its postseason efforts. They were still playing in the NCAA tournament when the portal opened. Now they have 2 weeks before the portal opens on April 7th, the day after the national championship game, and players are already declaring their intentions to enter the portal. You go on social media, you look at a bunch of players who've already announced their intentions 2 weeks out before the portal opens. That gives coaches a chance to scout them, see if they're a fit for their program. So when the portal does open, those coaches are getting in line really quickly to set up official visits. Florida's coaching staff, though they have a roster overhaul that they're going to have to figure out, there's going to be some ways where this is going to help them improve, either through the roster or making this coaching staff even hungrier. Again, not saying that they weren't, so don't misconstrue my words, but I do think that there's going to be some benefits from this. All right, you just heard me ramble. Our WRUF text line is open, 352-325-3777. Send us your questions, comments, and takes. You can also text Sports Scene. Call us, email, and comment on Facebook or YouTube as well. We've gotten a couple texts in here I want to address real quick. 850 Gator from YouTube says, nobody is hurting more than the team. The guys who put in the work, it'll be okay, life goes on. This program has 3 natties. We're blessed. That's the other context, folks. There are some programs out there that their fans will go their whole lives without seeing what Florida accomplished last year. And not saying that you shouldn't want more and more and more and that losses don't sting, but they can never take away from you winning the national championship in 2025, in 2006, in 2007. That never goes away. So, a good perspective. I like the optimism, trust me. Art from YouTube says, this team wasn't going to win it all anyway. It'll be okay. Sloppy point guard play, bad free throw shooting, whatever three-point shooting. We had a complete miracle to have UConn, Houston, and Texas Tech all choke against us last year. Well, Art, I got to be quite honest. Still won a championship. Some team's going to choke. Sometimes it's going to be Florida. Sometimes it's going to be Texas Tech, UConn, or Houston. I can understand your perspective. I think it's a little bit glass half empty. I think the perspective most Florida fans want to have is that Florida faced significant adversity in all those games. And they did to UConn last year what Iowa just did to them. They beat the defending national champions in the second round of the NCAA tournament. That's a feat that I don't think people want to minimize whatsoever. And they had clutch shooting to come back from 12 down against Houston. Walter Clayton, Will Richard, Elijah Martin, Thomas Houck, Alex Condon made some incredible plays down the stretch last year. So their fans probably see it as they choked. Florida fans probably see it as the Gators overcame significant adversity. One more here, then we're going to take this first break, get to your calls. We got Mike, Monty, and Chris on the lines. We're going to get your calls right after this first break. But Jim from Facebook says 3 in football, 3 in basketball, and 1 in baseball. Other Division I schools will kill for this kind of success. Florida is fine. Florida's more than just fine, Jim. I am with you. Florida's in a great place, and they will be back. We're going to take this break. When we come back on the other side of Sports Scene, we're going to take your calls here as we wrap up this first hour on WRUF.
WRUF Sports Center.
I'm Jalen Foote. Gators Baseball fell short in a 3-game series against SEC rivals Alabama. Florida's head coach, Kevin O'Sullivan, is disappointed in the team's play over the weekend.
I can't remember a weekend in recent memory as disappointing as this was. Getting no hit on Friday night, and then we got a below-average start yesterday from a guy that's been throwing the ball great for us. And today we had a rested pen that, quite frankly, is inexcusable.
The Gators look to bounce back in their rivalry game tonight against 10th-ranked FSU. First pitch is at 6 p.m. in Jacksonville. Moving to Gator softball. Florida wins their series against the number 1 ranked Tennessee. The Gators won 2 out of their 3 games played in the series. Gators now look forward to their matchup against Stetson tomorrow. The first pitch is at 6 p.m. at home.
When the late, great Charlie Daniels would need a place for jewelry he could trust, he turned to International Gold, Diamond, and Watch Exchange.
Hi, I'm Charlie Daniels, and I live in Tennessee, but when I get ready to do something serious about jewelry or a gift for my wife or somebody, I always get in touch with the folks at International Gold and Diamond Exchange here in Gainesville. There's a lot of reasons for that. One reason is they sell nothing but the best.
Find out what Charlie was talking about for yourself at International Gold, Diamond, and Watch Exchange at 3440 West University Avenue and online at igdwex.com.
Gator Nation, did you know the UF Bookstore, located right inside the University of Florida's Rights Union, is more than just textbooks? That's right. Gear up with officially licensed Gator merchandise from top brands like Nike, Peter Lamar, Lululemon, Columbia, Tommy Bahama, Apple, and more. From game day to every day, we've got the styles Gators love. Stop by the Florida Bookstore at Rights Union. The Florida Bookstore, where Gators shop.
Go Gators!
After you work out, you can feel worn out. Reach for Core Power and rise to a whole new level of recovery. Protein to build muscle. Electrolytes to help hydrate. The nutrition you need to power on. Champion your recovery with Core Power.
We sell more so you save more at the all-new Davis Gainesville Chevrolet GMC. New Chevy Silverado or GMC Sierra, $349 per month. New Chevy Colorado or GMC Canyon, $239 per month. Plus, we'll beat any price from the Villages to Lake City to Jacksonville and everywhere in between at the all-new Davis Gainesville Chevrolet GMC on North Main Street in the heart of Gator Country and at GainesvilleChevyGMC.com. 36-month leases, $84.99 due at signing, plus tax tag, title, and dock. All rebates and incentives to dealer may include loyalty, subject to lender approval. Together, let's drive.
Are you ready to raise your game when it comes to your Gators gear? Head over to Alma Mater in Gainesville. You'll find just what you need to rep your team in style. From one-of-a-kind Gator tees and hats to NIL gear, they've got the perfect Gator swag for every fan in all kinds of weather. Whether it's game day or any day, you'll be winning with officially licensed apparel found nowhere else. Locally owned, locally produced. Alma Mater, in-store at the corner of 34th and University or online at almamaterdesign.com.
Concrete is tough, long-lasting, durable, and when it's done right, it's the foundation of everything that stands strong. At Silverback Concrete, we don't just pour concrete, we build trust one slab at a time. We're a family-led team of heavy concrete specialists who sweat every detail, from footers to elevated decks. We respect your budget, we build to last, and we care about the people on the job today and those who will walk these floors tomorrow. You stand on it, we stand by it. Silverback Concrete, we've got your back. Visit silverbackconcrete.co to get started.
For more than 50 years of quality service, Archer Electric Service Company has been Gainesville's choice for residential and commercial electrical work. Whether you need wiring, repairs, or backup generator installation, we treat every client like family with professional, clean, dependable service. Don't wait for the storm or the flicker to remind you. Visit ArcherElectricService.com today for a free consultation and see why we've been Gainesville and the surrounding area's most trusted electricians for decades.
From the UF Weather Center, here is your WRUF weather update.
Highs will be in the upper 60s and mid 70s for north central Florida, lower 70s across the Nature Coast. Continue to expect some more pop-up showers as we head throughout the rest of the day. You might hear a rumble of thunder with it as well. Lows tonight will be in the upper 50s and the lower 60s. From the WUFT Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Audrey Shirley.
The Tailgate with Jeff Cardozo and Zach Albuquerque. Weekdays at 4, right here on WRUF.
All right, you're back listening to Sports Scene, fueled by Southeast Car Agency. We're wrapping up this first hour. Sponsored by Quality Plumbing. Quality Plumbing. When you need a quality plumber, rely on the same company that Gainesville has trusted since 1984. Quality Plumbing, their name says it all. You want to join our waiting list to expose your business to thousands of sport fans? Contact Freddie at 352-284-3733. We're going to go back to the Titan MRI and phone lines as we wrap up this first hour. We've got a couple guys waiting. We appreciate you. Mike, you're on with Sports Scene. How are you doing?
Hey, guys. The sun came up yesterday morning, and I think it came up this morning. I wouldn't swear to it, but it's bright outside. So it's not a dead world yet. So, but anyway, I wanted to talk to you about Klavchar. I've been watching him, with a pretty close eye, and it looks like he's really improved his game. He drives to the basket. He plays better defense, to my opinion, and he's getting to where he's more of a threat than just a three-point shot on the court.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think his defense has made a lot of progress. There were times in that game against Iowa where he was defending Bennett Sturtz. And at first I'm looking at it like, oh man, this is trouble. But he did a great job staying in front of Bennett. I mean, Bennett was 0 for something from 3 in that game, 0 for 9 or something like that. I mean, that I think adds to the disappointment of Florida fans is you held Bennett Sturtz in check. And he did it with Boogie Flan, some Thomas Houck, a lot of switching, but then Urban Klavzar did a great job staying in front of him. And if you'd asked Todd Golden last year, he would not have said that Urban was a fantastic three-point shooter. And one last thing I got to note, because often we talk vaguely about guys playing through injury, Urban, if you watch that game, had his right thumb wrapped. Before the NCAA tournament, he suffered a thumb injury, and he couldn't shoot the ball 4 days before the Iowa game. And then he steps in plays through pain, and is knocking down three-pointers. I just think he's done a great job for Florida. He's made incredible strides, and I'm certainly echoing the coaching staff when I say this, that I'm hopeful he's back for what will be his senior year next year.
Yeah, on the other thing is, if we get Boogie back, do we go for another guard in the portal, or do we have one on campus that might work out? What do you think?
Alex Lloyd is a freshman, and I don't think Alex had a fantastic freshman season. I think he'd be the first one to tell you that. Now, he knew he wasn't going to play a ton when he came in. He probably hoped that he'd play more than he did, where he was really kind of a last 3 minutes of the game guy when Florida's up 25 or more. But he needs to make a leap heading into his sophomore year. If they don't think he's going to make that leap, then I think they're going to take another guard. Now, if Boogie goes to the draft, then they're definitely taking another guard. They already have to replace Xavier Lee, so we're talking potentially 2 ball-handling point guards, maybe a combo guard in there as well, that is going to come into this roster.
All right. Okay, the other thing, like real quick, I just remembered, Iowa State's still in the tournament, right?
Iowa State is still in the tournament. They had a pretty big win.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing I'm going to be rooting for Iowa State the rest of the way because they have a local boy that's on the coaching staff, graduated from PK Young, was best friends with Terry Jackson, and his name's Micah Byers. He is on the coaching staff. You see him on the bench down there on every game they play, and I know him personally. He's a really good kid. I watched him grow up, so I'm going to be an Iowa State fan the rest of the way. I hope they win it all.
Hey, you just inspire me to root for them too. As a Gainesville high school graduate, someone who's lived here my whole life, anytime I can root for someone from Gainesville coming up from where we came from to have success, I'm absolutely going to do it. So thank you. If I had known that, maybe I would have picked Iowa State in my Final Four of my bracket. So thank you, Mike.
Buddy, I was born in Gainesville.
Hey, let's go. We got to stick together. Thanks for Mike for your call. Appreciate you. Monty, you were on with Sports Scene. Appreciate you. We're going to try and get you question and answer here before we finish up this first hour, and then we're going to get Chris's question when we come back on the other side. How are you doing today, Monty?
I'm doing fine. The last caller just kind of took my thunder because I did want to actually talk about the existing guards that we have. I think, personally, I just wanted your opinion about it, that C.J. Ingram is a diamond in the rough, and he just needs more time to get out there on the court. The other one that I really have questions about, I just wanted to know what you thought of C.J. Ingram. And the other one I wanted to talk to you about was Isaiah Brown, who, in my opinion, shows real flashes, but he's just seems like a fouling machine. He's so undisciplined out there and gets in a lot of fouls. Do you agree with both of those comments?
I'm going to start with CJ. I think CJ had a great freshman season. He didn't know what his role was going to be, didn't play a ton during SEC play, and he wasn't considered to be a shooter when he got to college. His three-point shot has come along massively. He's an efficient scorer when he gets in the game. He's going to get 3 or 4 field goal attempts, and I feel like more often than not he's going to hit half of those. He's a great on-ball defender as well, doesn't foul a ton. He, in my opinion, is going to be a critical bench piece, if not a potential starter for Florida next season. Now, Isaiah Brown, I think, from an intangible perspective, I keep using that word and I hate it. I'm sorry. It probably was my word of the day on the calendar. But Isaiah Brown overcame a lot of adversity this year. Another cliche, I know, but he didn't have a great summer. In fall, he was getting beat out by guys like C.J. Ingram. And they didn't know if he was going to even have a role as a sophomore. They were pretty disappointed in him from what I understand. They wanted him to be more mature. They want him to step up. He finally did that in December and then just kept making, I don't know how you quantify this, but he made winning play after winning play. Now, there were the fouls too, but you go back, even in that Iowa game, he gets the rebound, throws it off the other guy, and gets Florida another possession. He's got the highest vertical on the team. He's got a great corner three-point shot that is going to keep progressing, and he's really only played kind of a full season of college basketball because he didn't play a ton as a freshman and was the 8th man on this team. So we'll see what his role is going to be next year. If he can cut down on the fouling, that would certainly help as well. But you know what? I kind of pinpoint that on the referees, right? You know? I'd rather a guy play physical and get called for a couple fouls than a guy not played physical because they're scared to get called for a foul. That's just me, at least. Like, take the Tennessee approach where you foul on every play and force the refs to call one or two.
Yeah. And at some point, can you talk about A.J. Brown? I haven't seen much of him at all.
I'm going to answer your question real quick, but if you listen on the other side, I'll talk more about A.J. Brown. He redshirted this year. He had a shoulder injury at the end of the year. So I expect him to be back. He got a waiver. He'll have his final season of college eligibility next year. I expect both the Brown brothers to be an impactful duo for Florida next year. But credit to AJ for, being a consummate teammate through the circumstances. Not being able to play is certainly tough for him, but he handled it really well, and he was a big piece for Florida this year. So we appreciate the call, Monty. We're going to have to take this first break at the hour. When we come back, we appreciate Quality Plumbing for sponsoring this first hour of Sports Scene. We'll be right back.
This is former Gator quarterback Shane Matthews, and you're listening to the home of Gator Sports, WRUF, 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and 103.7 HD2.
Want to get your brand noticed? At Radware, we help you stand out with custom corporate apparel, branded uniforms, and promotional swag that gets attention. From trade shows to team uniforms, we've got you covered. Radware even works with major names like the University of Florida. Boost your brand visibility today. Visit radware.com. That's radware.com, and let your brand shine.
Sure, seasons change, and that's more than the pollen on your car and everything else right now. Seasons in your life change too. And for over 90 years of seasons, Campus USA Credit Union has been here for you. As your life and financial needs change, Campus USA Credit Union can help. Checking and savings accounts, low-interest credit cards, personal loans or home equity loans, business loans, auto loans, and investments. Campus USA Credit Union. There's a location or ATM near you. CampusCU.com. Member NCUA.
Looking for a roof you can trust to weather any storm? Atlantic Roofing has been covering North Central Florida for over 20 years. We're a third-generation, locally owned roofing company. From Alachua to Marion, Bradford, Levy, Gilchrist, Columbia, and beyond, we've got your home, your business, and your back. Visit AtlanticRoofing.com or call today for your free estimate. Atlantic Roofing, where quality rises above.
Domino's carryout deal means you can carry out one-topping pizzas for $7.99 each when you order online or by phone. Just in case there's any confusion, we've even set up a helpful website to confirm if today is a day you can carry out one-topping pizzas for $7.99 each. Just go to howaboutoday.com to find out if Domino's carryout deal is valid today. Spoiler alert, it is. Carryout only. Ask for this offer. Availability and charges may vary. Size availability varies by crust type. Excludes XL and specialty. Your local store may charge extra for some toppings and sauces.
Hi, I'm Kerry Meldon. At Meldon Law, we prepare every case as if it's going to trial. And part of that preparation involves real people from our community giving honest feedback. Join one of our jury research focus groups. You'll review real case scenarios, share your perspective, and enjoy dinner and dessert on us. We'll thank you and provide you $125 for your time. It's engaging, meaningful, and your voice truly matters. Visit meldonlaw.com to sign up today.
Gator fans, this one's for you. Introducing Castaway Sauce Company, the hot sauce made by Gators for Gators. Their signature ball kicker hot sauce is inspired by Steve Spurrier's famous kick that beat Auburn in '66. If you love hot sauce with real flavor, not just heat and vinegar, Castaway delivers. Available at select public supermarkets, Castaway Sauce Company is founded by a lifelong Gator and proud UF alum. From mild to wild, they've got a flavor for every Gator tailgate. Grab your Castaway hot sauce today and taste the tradition. Learn more at CastawaySauceCompany.com.
By now, you've heard about the Florida Legends Experience in Gila, featuring Gator Heisman greats Tim Tebow, Danny Werfel, and Steve Spurrier all in one place at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Imagine catching a pass or taking a handoff from a Heisman winner, all while supporting Isaiah 117 to help provide safe, loving homes for children in need. Then enjoy an unforgettable evening at the Gala, filled with great food and lasting memories. Don't miss this historic event. Find out how you and your business can get involved at FLLegends.com. That's FLLegends.com.
From the Spurrier's Gridiron Grill Studio, WRUF Gainesville, W251CG Gainesville, WRUF FM HD2, and on the WRUF radio app. This program is paid for by Weeby Marketing. the godfather of Gator Sports Talk Radio, has returned.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
It's Sports Scene with Steve Russell. Time to eat some lunch and talk some Gator sports.
Sports Scene with Steve Russell is fueled by Southeast Car Agency and brought to you in part by International Diamond Center, Domino's, Atlantic Roofing, Meldon Law, Los Linderos Tequila, Comfort Temp, Campus USA Credit Union, Pomodoro Cafe, Titan MRI and Imaging, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogra State Farm, Miapa Latin Cafe, Radware, Fairlife Milk, Gator Trim Lights, Quality Plumbing, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker, and the Head Beer Coach.
Now, here's Steve Russell, right here on WRUF.
Welcome back to Sports Scene. Steve Russell is on a bus headed to Jacksonville for Florida baseball, taking on FSU. If you're just joining us, I am Graham Hall of 247 Sports, broadcasting live from the Gator Trim Light studio. Everyone knows Gator Trim Light is the go-to for patented permanent holiday lighting, but they do so much more, and you know all about it. We're fueled by Southeast Car Agency. Really appreciate them. Getting a lot of questions today. Did you know that you can text Sports Scene, you can call us, you can email, and you can comment on Facebook or YouTube as well, so there's no excuse for you reaching out to us. The text line question of the day is always brought to you by our great sponsors, B&D Electric, professional, reliable electrical service you can trust. Schedule at bdelectric.com. You can now text the show on the B&D Electric text line at 352-325-377, and I'll read your message and respond live on air. We got a text here from George. Did Graham attend the new women's coach presser earlier today? And if so, can he give us a preview on what to look out for? I would be absolutely honored. I was there this morning as Tammi Reiss was introduced as the new Florida women's basketball coach. Best friends with Dawn Staley. Now, if you don't know who Dawn Staley is, you need to get on Wikipedia and look her up. She is absolutely the greatest women's basketball coach right now in the game. No offense to Gino Auriemma. Dawn Staley is the pinnacle of success, and Tammi and her are best friends. Now, that's not all it's going to take for Tammi to be successful at Florida, and I'm not telling her anything she doesn't already know. What is going to lead to success, in my opinion, for Florida women's basketball, two main things, and they both come down to you listeners out there. Number one is fundraising. And I can already see some of y'all rolling your eyes when I say that. But coaches can't do it in this day and age if they don't have some of the top resources in the country. And that's not just coming from the athletic department, which from what I have heard, the UAA is making a significant investment in getting the women's basketball program to be as competitive as the majority, if not all, the programs at the University of Florida. That is going to take more of an investment than has been made previously. And it starts with giving Tammi a really competitive contract offer. She has a 5-year deal where she'll make roughly $900,000 annually, from what I've heard. And then you also have to be able, as a head coach, fundraise. And so what stuck out to me the most from Coach Reiss's press conference today was where she talked about how she was able to fundraise in the smallest state in our country. And I feel like I can say that because I know a lot of people from Rhode Island. My wife's family lives in Cranston, Rhode Island. She was able to raise more than $330,000 at Rhode Island. That's more than was raised previously at Florida. So her ability to do that, number one in my mind, is an indicator that she could be successful here at Florida. Number two, obviously, is going to be her approach and her relationship with players. And she's been around the game for a long time. She understands what it takes. She was played in the WNBA the first year that the league existed. She has great relationships around the SEC. And she wants to build a culture here. And she used that word retention that is so critical to a head coach's success, especially when, let's not get it twisted, Kelly Ray Finley brought in some fantastic players at Florida. And keeping them is going to be one of the top efforts that Coach Tammi Reiss is going to have to make. And she understands that, and she addressed that multiple times. So from the investment, her fundraising ability, and understanding that retention is key, that is what stood out to me. Now, again, it's easier said than done. And again, I'm not saying anything she doesn't already know. I hope it's not controversial. But that's what it's going to take, and she looks like she's going to hit the ground running. She did reveal, and I think this is pretty cool, if only we could be a fly on the wall for one of these. I'm not just talking about media, but fans would probably like this as well. If they could get a little peanut gallery where we could watch this. But they had a head coaches dinner last night with all the head coaches, John Summerall, Todd Golden, Mouse Holloway, all the head coaches at Florida were in attendance. Maybe a couple were not there. I don't know if Kevin O'Sullivan was back yet. But all the head coaches were in attendance to meet Tammi and have introductions. And having all of them in a room to kind of pick each other's brains and get to know one another and find out what works for one and what they could improve upon themselves, I think is really, really cool. And I think that that's going to help her and make her feel welcome at the University of Florida. So that's what stood out to me from her press conference. We'll see if she is able to return players such as Miara O'Neal. Liv McGill, obviously, is a huge one. We'll see. Liv was at Tammy's press conference earlier today, which may be a promising sign, may not be, may not mean anything. You know, DJ Lagway was at John Summerall's. So we'll find out in the near future, but that is what stood out to me. So appreciate that question from Daryl, from George, excuse me. Daryl from Facebook says, if Josh Hubbard from Mississippi State enters the portal, is that someone you'd like to see Florida go after? I'm going to say no. I think Josh Hubbard is undersized. I think he's a good scorer. I don't know if that's someone that's on Florida's radar. I know that Todd Golden complimented him a ton this year. But does that mean that I think he's going to come to Florida? I don't know. He's undersized, in my opinion. I think in this day and age, you want guards who are like, you'd ideally like someone who's going to be 6'3" or taller. Not saying that they can't work out. I mean, Urban Klavzar, shortest guy on the team, he's been fantastic. So I'm not ruling it out. And Hubbard is a bucket, but he needs the ball in his hands, and it's hard for me to see them going in that direction. So we'll find out. One more question here on the text line before we take this first break. Daniel wants to know, if we do replace the starting five, Florida will have great players to replace them, correct? The only bright spot of them leaving will be freeing up money. Absolutely. I like the optimism. We're finally turning the corner on how depressing the loss was to Iowa, and we can start looking at maybe the bright side of things, even if it still stings. If you lose a bunch of players like Tommy and Kondo and Ruben and Boogie and Xavier is going, you're going to be able to have pretty much a freed up budget, so to speak. And how they use that will be really, really interesting. It's always funny to me when we talk about money for NIL and revenue sharing, because let me just say this. If you talk about how much money you have in your collective and can use it to build your roster, you better really hope that you're good. Because if you aren't good and you put out, we had the top 5 budget of all of college basketball, if you put that out there and then you just are mediocre at best, that number is going to be used against you to make fun of you for the entire season. It's what Kentucky fans just experienced. That whole $22 million number that's out there, they probably freaked out when one of the reporters up in Lexington put that number out there. They were like, oh man, now the pressure is really on. We have the top spending roster in college basketball. We better hope that we, don't blow this thing. You even had coaches like Todd Golden coming out and referencing it. And then Kentucky fans are all upset and on Twitter and being like, well, that number's not really true because Jaden Quintons and Jalen Lowe were out, so it's only 14 million players on the court. No one cares about that. Once that number is out there, you better hope that you're good. Now, if you have a low number and you're, in the bottom of the SEC and then you're one of the top teams, that's the flip side. Then you put that number out there and you're like, you know what? We only spent $8 million and we're beating a $24 million roster. Give us our props for evaluating and getting guys that weren't going to command the top dollar, and we had a great evaluation and we landed players who were under the radar. You got to be really, really careful with those numbers. But yeah, to answer your question, Florida will have plenty of money to rebuild its roster if they lose a couple of those guys or if they lose all of them. So that is the flip side. It is good to know that there's starting to be some optimism out here after Florida's loss. Byron, we see you on the line. We got to take this quick break. When we come back, we'll get your call right here on Sports Scene on WRUF.
WRUF Sports Center.
I'm Miranda Vargas. Tonight, Gators Baseball takes on Florida State in Jacksonville. After being swept by Alabama last weekend, Florida dropped out of D1 Baseball's top 25 rankings. Head coach Kevin O'Sullivan said he's frustrated by his players' lack of confidence.
We can't be running up and down the dugout for 9 innings trying to get these guys motivated and keep them in the ball game. It's their responsibility. It's a privilege to play at the University of Florida, and am I going to have to bring my pom-poms, every game while I'm trying to manage the ball game or any of the other coaches? It's the players' responsibility. Sure.
First pitch is at 6 p.m. Coverage here starts at 5:55. In other news, men's swim and dive is headed to Atlanta to compete in the NCAA Championship this week. The Gators are sending 11 athletes, the fourth most in the nation, across 28 individual events. Florida is looking to keep their streak of placing in the top 5, which they've done for the past 2 years.
Hey folks, it's Steve Russell for my friends at Southeast Car Agency in Gainesville, 310 Northeast 39th Avenue. They've been in business for over 45 years. That in itself says a whole lot. Take a look around you when you drive. Take a look at the car in front of you, alongside of you. There's a really good chance it'll have a Southeast Car Agency tag, just like my vehicle does, and many vehicles before that have as well. When you go see them in person, make sure and tell them Sports Scene sent you to the good people at Southeast Car Agency, 310 Northeast 39th Avenue, Gainesville.
Gator Nation, ready to light it up? Gator Trim Light has already brightened homes and businesses across North Florida. And now they're bringing the heat with full color landscape lighting. Light up your palm trees, bushes, pools, patios, barbecue decks, everything in orange and blue. Whether it's a back porch retrofit or a full custom landscape install, Gator Trim Light makes your home game day ready. Turn your patio into the ultimate victory zone and cheer your Gators on to a big win. Visit GatorTrimLight.com. That's GatorTrimLight.com. Gator Trim Light. Let there be Gator Light.
Hi, I'm Kerry Meldon. At Meldon Law, we prepare every case as if it's going to trial. And part of that preparation involves real people from our community giving honest feedback. Join one of our jury research focus groups. You'll review real case scenarios, share your perspective, and enjoy dinner and dessert on us. We'll thank you and provide you $125 for your time. It's engaging, meaningful, and your voice truly matters. Visit meldonlaw.com to sign up today.
After you work out, you can feel worn out. Reach for core power and rise to a whole new level of recovery. Protein to build muscle. Electrolytes to help hydrate. The nutrition you need to power on. Champion your recovery with Core Power.
Hey, have you ever talked to Ruse Agra over at State Farm?
Oh yeah, Ruse is awesome. Helped me get a ton of coverage for way less than I expected, and he serves all of North Florida. Super friendly too, actually takes time to explain everything.
Really? I thought State Farm would be pricey.
Nope, surprisingly great rates. You get that neighborly service you don't find everywhere. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I might give Ruse at State Farm a call.
You should. Call 352-240-1779 for a free quote. You'll be glad you did.
Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Sure, seasons change. And that's more than the pollen on your car and everything else right now. Seasons in your life change too. And for over 90 years of seasons, Campus USA Credit Union has been here for you. As your life and financial needs change, Campus USA Credit Union can help. Checking and savings accounts, low-interest credit cards, personal loans or home equity loans, business loans, auto loans, and investments. Campus USA Credit Union. There's a location or ATM near you. CampusCU.com. Member NCUA.
When the late, great Charlie Daniels would need a place for jewelry he could trust, he turned to International Gold, Diamond, and Watch Exchange.
Hi, I'm Charlie Daniels, and I live in Tennessee, but when I get ready to do something serious about jewelry or a gift for my wife or somebody, I always get in touch with the folks at International Gold and Diamond Exchange here in Gainesville. There's a lot of reasons for that. One reason is they sell nothing but the best.
Find out what Charlie was talking about for yourself at International Gold, Diamond, and Watch Exchange at 3440 West University Avenue and online at igdwex.com.
If it happens in Gator Nation, you hear it on WRUF 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and 103.7 HD2.
Welcome back to Sports Scene. I am Graham Hall. Again, Steve Russell headed up to Jacksonville for Florida Baseball, taking on those dreaded Seminoles. He'll be back in studio tomorrow, and then I will be back here Thursday. Really appreciate all our sponsors. Thankful to Domino's Pizza for sponsoring this second hour of Sports Scene today. There's a Domino's Pizza right in your neighborhood. Perfect for lunch, dinner, or those late-night cravings. No one delivers like Domino's. Whether you're picking up or ordering delivery, it's fast, easy, and just one click away. Order now, www.gatordominoes.com. We're going to go back to the phone lines. Sponsored by Titan MRI. Excuse me. We got Byron who's waiting. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for waiting. Byron, you're on with Sports Scene. How are you doing?
Man, I'll take one of those Domino deliveries, but I stayed during there in the boondocks of Alachua County. I don't think they could find me.
They could probably find you.
Yeah. They might could. I'm going to check it out.
They got GPS now.
You're right. Yeah. I don't know if they deliver out him on the other side of Waldo near Bradford County. I was kind of being facetious, but hey, the Bradford County one might be close enough. So I'm going to look into that because I could use a pizza for lunch. But let me get on to this show. Graham, real quick, man, if you know me, I really keep on orange and blue glasses, and you might have some on. So let's take those off with this question right now. We're not talking Gators, Gator nothing. But my problem lately with sports, and I talked to Coach Mark Wise with this, not sports, basketball. Maybe I'll show you why I'm whining. It doesn't seem like a foul gets called, especially on a big man. I was a big guy in the day, 6'7", which now I'm a midget. But, and it seemed like I never got a call then, and it's a no-contact game. So I'm just wondering, in your eyes, and we can go to the NBA, what happened to the Chargers? We were taught to do that. They can knock you half court up from the free throw line to the wall. It's nothing. And also, let's do this. Is the game getting like football? I hear they hold, and I helped every time I played guard on every time I could do it. But certain times they make the call. Is it to keep the game flowing, or do they make calls when they just – because everybody's fouling, and it seems like traveling too in the NBA, because they didn't let me get away with the Euro step. So from an Auburn Gunner fan, I didn't get NIL. I couldn't do the Euro step and travel, and I couldn't hold. So I'm frustrated. Thanks, guy. And I got called for every foul, too. Go Gators.
Byron, I feel like you're telling on yourself a little bit here, man. I mean, I got a lot to unpack out of what you just said. One, Ruben Chinilu probably disagrees with you because he probably feels like he's called for fouls too much, punished for being too big. I do think that a couple years ago, maybe like 2 years ago, the officials wanted to cut down on the amount of charge calls that were happening in a game because guys were taking advantage of them in a sense, where you really would see a lot of incentive towards a guy trying to draw a charge when it really wasn't an egregious charge. And so now you don't see a ton of it. It used to be something that coaches coached a lot, and now you don't see it too often because more often or not, they're going to put themselves in harm's way to get a blocking call. And that's why coaches are coaching play off of 2 feet, play straight up, don't bend your arms down, go straight up against a guy, don't leave your feet if you can help it, because more often than not, that's how you're going to defend without getting called for a foul and putting yourself in the position where an official is going to have to make a determination whether it's a block or charge. And if you leave your hopes up to an official, I mean, you kind of picked your poison in a sense. So that's where it comes down to for me. And I do think that heading into this past season, SEC officials in particular, when they had their postseason review from the 2024-25 season, one of the things that they discussed, I know this for a fact, is they wanted to speed up games. They wanted replays to take less time. They wanted to have less of, a lull between competition. You're already going to have the media timeouts every 4 minutes. But they wanted to, and not say not call fouls, but they wanted to find ways to speed the game up. And one of the ways to do that is to sometimes let them play. I don't think they called a foul in the first 4 minutes of the Florida-Iowa game. It was almost too much in the other direction, where they were swallowing their whistles a little bit, and both teams were getting away with stuff that would be called a foul. And then they kind of, overcorrected a little bit in a sense, and guys like Ruben get hit with 4 fouls. But before this season, SEC officials met at the league office, and they sat there and said games cannot take 2.5 hours anymore. They can't be taking longer than an NBA game that has 8 more minutes played in it. We need to speed these games up. So maybe that's part of why they're not calling as many fouls as some would like. I'm a fan of just letting them play, especially if you're a physical team like Florida and you got more size. The less fouls called, probably the better for you. So that's just how I feel about it. Chris, welcome to Sports Scene. How are you doing? Thanks for the call.
Good, yeah. I just had 2 things pertaining to the Gators and college basketball. The first thing is sort of the narrative about Gator fans the last 20 years or so. We've heard this a lot about us, that we're impatient, we're whiny, we're negative. I can tell you, having suffered through 4 coaching changes, that I disagreed. I think Florida fans are pretty smart. I think obviously you have a few bad apples in every bunch, but I think often as fans we felt like we were being gaslit by the media or the administration. We would know a year and a half into a coach's tenure whether this was going right or not, and we had a lot of sunshine pumping, a lot of you guys need to be more patient. Having said that, this is the first time I kind of agree. The sort of vitriol I see from some corners about Golden and this team and what calls should have been made. For the most part, I think fans are just grateful for what this team did over the last 2 years. But I did see a lot of entitlement that I had not seen previously that had kind of been pinned to us as a fan base. Super hard to go back to back. It's only been done twice in 40 years. I picked Michigan to win it all. I didn't think Florida had enough 3-point shooters. But it just seemed like we expected to win it all, and when we didn't, that disappointment really manifested in some ugliness that I was disappointed in from some Gator fans. The other thing I wanted to mention, and I want your take on this, is Florida is a new blood. We are a basketball school. Every measurable statistic shows that we are a blue blood basketball school now. If you look at number of Final Fours, we're third. Number of national championships, we're third. 6 in Final Fours, third in national championships. We're only behind Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina, UConn, Kansas. We're in the top 7 or so. You throw Michigan State in there. For every statistic when it comes to winning championships, I don't see how it's even arguable anymore. I think it's hard for us to wrap our heads around it because we've been a football school for so long. But I just want your take on that, because are we going to spend the money like a blue blood school to retain Golden, to give him resources, to get players? Because it's been proven now for 30 years, since 1994, 3 different coaching staffs, that we are a basketball school. And so I want to know from you, are we going to have that kind of investment? Thanks. I'll hang up and listen.
I appreciate the call, Chris. Absolutely. A lot to unpack there. I do think that, let me say this, I think Florida fans are fantastic. Have there been times where that impatience has led to a little bit of angst and some vitriol on social media? Sure. when you're angry about something and you want to be back, you're going to find ways to lash out. That happened Sunday after the loss to Iowa. It happened at multiple junctures. It happened when, the shoe throw from Marco Wilson, you name it. There were times where Florida's undoing led to people being angry. And there were some times where the media, and I was guilty of it too, would sit here and say, hey, there's 15 other teams in the SEC and there's 67 other, Power 5 teams who are trying to win too, and you're not going to win them all. You won 2 championships in the 2000s, and you won one in 96. You won 3 national championships in football in a 12-year span. There are a lot of teams that would kill for that. And now you've won 3 basketball championships in a 20-year span? There's some that have won none. And so getting upset after a loss to Iowa is where it can lead to people be like, hey, listen, calm down a little bit. You experienced the mountaintop not once, not twice, but 3 times. I mean, it's like you've hiked up, Mount Everest 3 times and, you're then sitting there being like, oh man, I want to make a 4th one. Why am I not going to get a 4th one? Some people haven't been able to do it once. Appreciate what you have and understand that if it falls short, it's not an entitlement that you should have had it. You just came up empty. And in college basketball, 364 teams are not going to win a national championship. One is. You're more than likely to be in the former than the latter. And if you're in the latter 3 times in 20 years, my God, you're doing something right. So I understand where that comes from. Absolutely. I do agree with you that Florida is in the new blood of the Blue Bloods. I like that term, because I do think the game has changed so much since this blue blood conversation was even ongoing that we got to kind of make a new rankings in a sense. Teams that have nailed, transfer portal, NIL, have won in this current era. And that's not to dismiss the old era, but the game is different. It's played differently. You can rebuild your team really, really quickly with the portal. You can retain players with NIL. And fans have never been more critical to a program's success. I'm not just, making you all feel good when I say that, but if you have fans who actually buy into NIL and show up to games and are invested in the program from a financial sense, you can directly impact winning more than just simply going to the game. So we're in this era where the fan bases are deserving of more credit than they ever have been for a program's success. And so I do think that in the last 20 years, Florida in football, maybe a little bit less so in the last decade, but especially in basketball, they are a blue blood without a doubt in my mind. I mean, there are some that are in that blue blood conversation that I'm sitting there and being like, when's the last time you won anything? So that's my rant. I agree with you absolutely. We're going to take this break. We're going to come back on the other side. Phone lines are open. 392-8255 is the number to call. You are listening to Sports Scene on WRUF.
This is former Gator quarterback Shane Matthews, and you're listening to the home of Gator sports, WRUF, 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and 103.7 HD2.
It's never fun being injured. And with summer on the way, the last thing you want is lingering pain holding you back. Good news. You don't have to deal with long waits or high costs at Titan MRI and Imaging. At Titan MRI and Imaging, you're not just another patient. You're treated with care in a comfortable, personal setting. With 2 locations in Gainesville and 1 in Lake City. Being pain-free is a short drive away, and they accept insurance. So don't sit out this summer. Get the scan you need and get back to enjoying it. Visit TitanMRI.com to learn more.
The commitment from IDC to first responders is really extraordinary.
Veteran firefighter Johnny Hinton talks about International Diamond Center's ongoing support for our heroes in uniform.
IDC has helped us raise just massive amounts of money.
Johnny says in addition to corporate gifts to support charity fundraisers, IDC is there every day, helping first responders with an extra 15% discount on any purchase.
Again, thank you guys so much.
International Diamond Center at Celebration Point.
Every great team is built on a solid game plan, sharp execution, and total trust in the crew beside you. At Quality Plumbing, we bring that same championship mindset to every job we do. For over 40 years, we've been the starting lineup for homes and businesses across North Central Florida, delivering reliable service, expert craftsmanship, and big wins for our customers. Call us today or visit qualityplumbing.com. We're your first string team. License number CFC 043073.
By now you've heard about the Florida Legends Experience in Gila, featuring Gator Heisman greats Tim Tebow, Danny Werfel, and Steve Spurrier all in one place at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Imagine catching a pass or taking a handoff from a Heisman winner, all while supporting Isaiah 117 to help provide safe, loving homes for children in need. Then enjoy an unforgettable evening at the Gala, filled with great food and lasting memories. Don't miss this historic event. Find out how you and your business can get involved at fllegends.com. That's fllegends.com.
Looking for a roof you can trust to weather any storm? Atlantic Roofing has been covering North Central Florida for over 20 years. We're a third-generation, locally owned roofing company. From Alachua to Marion, Bradford, Levy, Gilchrist, Columbia, and beyond, we've got your home, your business, and your back. Visit AtlanticRoofing.com or call today for your free estimate. Atlantic Roofing, where quality rises above.
Craving real Cuban flavor? Come to Mi Apa Latin Cafe, where every bite brings you home. From our juicy roast chicken with yellow rice and black beans, our breakfast options to sweet plantains, empanadas, and our iconic Cuban cafecito, we've got what your taste buds are waiting for. And with 6 locations, there's sure to be one near you serving up warm hospitality and authentic breakfast, lunch, or dinner vibes whenever hunger strikes. So head over to Mi Apa Latin Cafe, the best Cuban food north of Miami. Visit miapalatincafe.com or stop by your nearest location today.
The best conversations happen with Los Linderos tequila, like this recent conversation between 2 Gator legends.
Coach, you know what always impressed me? How you beat Florida State to win the 1996 national championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. 100% agave, Los Linderos tequila. Aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
Gator Baseball plays here. WRUF 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and 103.7 HD2.
Oh yeah. You're listening to Sports Scene, fueled by Southeast Car Agency. Makes me want to rhyme a little bit. I don't know if y'all want to hear that. Really appreciate Domino's Pizza sponsoring the second hour of the show. Again, Steve Russell headed up to Jacksonville tonight for Florida baseball versus FSU. We had a caller in the first hour who was talking about Todd Golden potentially to UNC and Billy Donovan to UNC. Now it feels a little bit prophetic. In the last hour, Joe Cowley, who covers the Chicago Bulls for the Chicago Sun-Times, reported that there's, quote, growing momentum, unquote, that Billy Donovan could step away from the Bulls after the season. Now, if that happens, does he return to college? Because I made the argument that coaches who have left college before NIL, before the transfer portal, that it may be a little bit of a daunting return. You've seen it from other coaches and it hasn't worked out. And why would you want to take that reputation risk? I mean, Billy Donovan's a Hall of Famer. That's not just my opinion. He's in the Hall of Fame. He doesn't need to prove anything. If he has the itch to come back to college, I mean, I think that speaks bold to it speaks a ton about his competitive fire. It would be really impressive. I think another NBA team would be wise to hire him. One that's maybe in a little bit better spot to compete than the Chicago Bulls. I can only imagine how frustrated Billy Donovan must be in Chicago. I mean, they've traded away all their first-round picks, it seems. They've had a ton of injuries. They're not close to competing. You lose more games in one season in Chicago than he probably lost in 5 years at Florida? I feel for him. So if this is the end of his coaching career or if he's going back to college, either way, we will be following it. Absolutely. One of the best in the business, and I don't have to tell you guys that. Absolutely. We've had a lot of questions today from Facebook Live, brought to you by Ruse Ogra State Farm. Ruse is your go-to agent in Gainesville and North Central Florida for car, home, casualty, and life insurance. Also have had a lot of questions on the YouTube question, sponsored by Campus USA Credit Union, where Coach Steve Spurrier proudly banks. Campus USA was founded on UF campus, has been serving our community for 90 years. Have had also a lot of questions on our phone lines, brought to you by Titan MRI and Imaging. We really appreciate them. 3 locations in Gainesville and 1 in Lake City to serve you better. Same-day scheduling is available. Call them for the best MRI and affordable prices, or visit them at titanmri.com. We got a great question from Mark, who says, and he wants my thoughts on this, what's been most discouraging for me since the buzzer sounded Sunday is that I've yet to come across any college basketball analyst, whether on TV or social media, who has said, yeah, the full court press with the intent to foul was a good idea, but they couldn't execute. Your thoughts? Now, this kind of blindsided me a little bit because I try and cover Florida as thoroughly as possible, but I had missed Todd Golden saying that if he was in that scenario and they were up 2, that they would foul and try and send a poor free throw shooter to the line and try and force them to tie the game or fall 1 point short rather than risk the other team hit a 3-pointer. And at first I heard it and was like, man, that's kind of crazy. But the more I thought about it, this is why you should never have a rush to judgment. I should tell myself that a little bit more. But the more I thought about it, I was like, man, that is wise. Imagine, and I'm not disrespecting him here when I say this, so don't tweet at him or anything like that. But I think Micah Hanlogton would tell you that he wasn't a great free throw shooter this year. He just didn't shoot him at a high percentage. I don't think he was over 50%. But if you're a team up 2 and you have a chance to foul Micah Hanlogton on the other team before the end of the last 10 seconds and send him to the line rather than risk a 3-point shot in the corner, the analytics would probably tell you that that's a really, really good decision because there's a chance he only goes 1 for 1 rather than hitting a 2. He only gets 1 point, and then you get the ball back. If you're a great rebounding team like Florida, you're going to get that rebound back. And then you are going to get fouled, and you're going to go back to the line, or you're going to be able to run the clock out. And so I thought it was really, really smart to hear that. Now, the flip side of that is it kind of leads to a little bit more criticism of how the last 10 seconds went, right? You're trying to foul. You're pressing. If Florida really is trying to foul, you're pressing. You're unable to foul, and then you're leaving a guy wide open in the corner. So kind of a failure in multiple departments, if that's the situation. So it kind of leads to the angst that, it's not that hard to foul. I know it's easy for us to say because we're spectators, but it's not that hard to foul because I see guys do it all the time. You see in the NBA, someone inbounds that they foul within, 1 second? If they were really trying to foul and they didn't pull it off, it just adds to, I think, a little bit of the frustration there. But yeah, they couldn't execute. So, interesting situation, absolutely. Mark, I'm going to read one more, then we're going to take our final break here on the second hour of Sports Scene on WRUF. Rich wants to know, what was the official ruling on the punch by Fulgaris? I thought there was contact. I thought there was intent, and you can see the contact in some photos. Thanks. I try. Media is not supposed to react. We're not supposed to cheer. And they never say, they say don't cheer on press row, but they never say don't jeer. Right? I was jeering. I wasn't praising anyone, but I was instantly, doing the whole get him out of here, get him, eject this guy. When I had a clear view of it, and I got great vision, folks. I don't wear contacts. I don't wear glasses. I got like 25 vision. And I'm looking directly at this little dust up, whatever you want to call it. And I see him cock his arm back and deliver a punch. I don't care that he didn't hit him. You can, if you plan a bank robbery and you don't pull it off, it's still a crime. And the rules directly say that a fight is a flagrant 2, it's an ejection. But an intention to fight, like tripping someone, kicking them with your leg, putting your, balling your fist up and trying to punch someone, that's the same as getting in a fight. Otherwise, we'd see in the NBA every single time that guys would try and defend one another by like looking like they were gonna, like beat the crap out of someone. And like they'd be just like sitting here like it's UFC and like rather than all this hand checking going on. There's a reason they don't do it, because you can't do it. So it was very clear to me that warranted an ejection. Now, to answer your question, because I've already rambled a lot and I do it a lot, I'm sorry. The officials told Todd Golden that it was a punch, but because he didn't make contact with Alex Condon, because it looked like he just had second thoughts at the last second, it was like, oh man, I'm trying not to get ejected, that they said it didn't warrant enough. Now, how they came to giving Alex Condon a technical foul when he almost got just sucker punched is beyond me, and Todd didn't even go into that explanation because I'm sure there were more things that he was upset about. But the officials didn't follow the rule book by the book. So the explanation they gave Todd Golden doesn't have merit, and I think it adds to the frustration, and it certainly adds to the sting of Florida losing to Iowa, because the game-winning shot is hit by a guy that we could easily, by the rulebook, have said should not have been in the game. And there's some high-def photos out there that you look, and Alvaro's fist is in Alex Condon's chest. I give Alex Condon credit because he said he didn't know if Fulgaris hit him or not. He could easily come out after the game and been like, yeah, he hit me in the chest. Shouldn't have been in the game. So, adds to the frustration. The official ruling that Todd got does not explain why he stayed in the game. And it's something that we can question, a what-if scenario. Do they win that game? If not. But I digress. We're going to take this last break. We'll come back on the other side, wrap up the second hour. You are listening to Sports Scene on WRUF.
WRUF Sports Center.
I'm Jalen Hood. Gators Baseball had a disappointing weekend after losing their 3-game series against Alabama. Florida's head coach, Kevin O'Sullivan, challenges his team to step up to their responsibilities.
We can't be running up and down the dugout for 9 innings trying to get these guys motivated and keep them in the ball game. It's their responsibility. It's a privilege to play at the University of Florida, and am I going to have to bring my pom-poms, every game while I'm trying to manage the ball game or any of the other coaches? It's the players' responsibility. Sure.
The Gators take on their in-state rivals, 10th-ranked FSU. First pitch is tonight at 6 p.m. in Jacksonville. In Gators women's basketball, Tammi Reiss has been hired as the new head coach of the team. Florida is excited about the hiring, with her years of experience playing at the University of Virginia and coaching Rhode Island for the last 7 seasons.
He's got the 1966 Heisman Trophy, the 1996 National Championship Trophy, and 7 SEC trophies. Now he's got a new trophy, a can of beer. Steve Spurrier was the head ball coach. Now you can call him the head beer coach. Head Beer Coach 1966 Lager is available in 16-ounce cans at Gator games and stores all across Gainesville. You can also get it in the can or on draft at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Refreshing in all kinds of weather, Head Beer Coach 1966 Lager, a legend in a can.
Attention local and regional CDL-A drivers in the North Florida area. Pritchett Trucking is currently looking for local and regional drivers. Are you looking for a driver-friendly environment? Pritchett Trucking offers more home time, great pay, and great benefits, including health insurance and paid time off. And they also offer a quarterly performance and safety program, plus a sign-on bonus. Pritchett Trucking's regional drivers are home weekends and local drivers are home daily. If you're at least 23 years old and want a rewarding career with great pay, don't let the opportunity pass you by. Apply online at PritchettTrucking.com.
Are you ready to raise your game when it comes to your Gators gear? Head over to Alma Mater in Gainesville. You'll find just what you need to rep your team in style. From one-of-a-kind Gator tees and hats to NIL gear, they've got the perfect Gator swag for every fan in all kinds of weather. Whether it's game day or any day, you'll be winning with officially licensed apparel found nowhere else. Locally owned, locally produced. Alma Mater, in-store at the corner of 34th and University or online at almamaterdesign.com.
Domino's carryout deal means you can carry out one-topping pizzas for $7.99 each when you order online or by phone. Just in case there's any confusion, we've even set up a helpful website to confirm if today is a day you can carry out one-topping pizzas for $7.99 each. Just go to howabouttoday.com to find out if Domino's carryout deal is valid today. Spoiler alert, it is. Carry out only. Ask for this offer. Availability and charges may vary. Size availability varies by crust type. Excludes XL and specialty. Your local store may charge extra for some toppings and sauces.
We sell more so you save more at the all-new Davis Gainesville Chevrolet GMC. New Chevy Silverado or GMC Sierra, $349 per month. New Chevy Colorado or GMC Canyon, $239 per month. Plus, we'll beat any price from the Villages to Lake City to Jacksonville and everywhere in between at the all-new Davis Gainesville Chevrolet GMC on North Main Street in the heart of Gator Country and at GainesvilleChevyGMC.com. 36-month leases, $84.99 due at signing, plus tax tag, title, and dock. All rebates and incentives to dealer may include loyalty, subject to lender approval. Together, let's drive.
When you need insurance, you'd like to get great coverage for a great rate, right? The big companies tell you they'll do, but how can you be sure? With Ann Tom's Insurance, you're not navigating coverage's choices alone. Ann Tom's is an independent agent with 35 years of experience, representing over 45 companies. Having an independent agent can make a real difference. It's that simple. Ann is local and independent. Call Ann direct, 352-727-3111. That's 352-727-3111. She can actually help.
Just after sunrise, the lake is glass. No traffic, no noise, just you, a cup of coffee, and open water. That kind of peace isn't far away. With Radiant Credit Union's flexible boat financing, competitive rates, and quick approvals, you could be on the water sooner than you think. Make some waves with a boat loan at Radiant Credit Union. But hurry, our special rates only last until March 31st. Apply today at radiantcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA Equal Opportunity Lender.
From the UF Weather Center, here is your WRUF weather update.
Highs will be in the upper 60s and mid-70s for north central Florida, lower 70s across the Nature Coast. Continue to expect some more pop-up showers as we head throughout the rest of the day. You might hear a rumble of thunder with it as well. Lows tonight will be in the upper 50s and the lower 60s. From the WUFT Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Audrey Shirley.
You're listening to Sports Scene with Steve Russell, right here on WRUF, 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and 103.7 HD2.
All right, we are wrapping up Sports Scene. I am Graham Hall of 247 Sports. Again, Steve Russell. He'll be back tomorrow. You can listen to him during Florida baseball tonight against FSU. The Gators are going to take that series against that school out west. Have had a lot of questions today. Appreciate being here. We're fueled by Southeast Car Agency. We've been broadcasting live from the Gator Trim Light Studio. Have had a ton of questions from Facebook Live, brought to you by Ruse Agro State Farm. Our YouTube questions from Campus USA Credit Union. And now we're going to go back to the phone lines, brought to you by Titan MRI and Imaging. Get David's call here as we wrap up this second hour, sponsored by Gator Domino's. David, how you doing? Thanks for joining Sports Scene.
Good afternoon, Graham. You know, last week heading into the tournament, Steve asked his audience what they would consider a successful season. And I told him we'd already had a successful season. You just don't win the SEC title every year. Florida was extremely good this year, and as you know, we're all disappointed they lost that game. None more than those kids. And when you saw the reaction of those players after they lost that game, you could see how much it meant to them. I can tell you, I have really enjoyed watching these players over the last 2 years. Every time they go out, they put a good effort. That they've had some off games where they didn't shoot well, but this has been a special team, Graham, and people don't appreciate it when it's happening. But hopefully, we won't go into one of those streaks. I don't think we will with Todd Golden, but hopefully, we don't go into one of those funks like we did when Urban Meyer left. Because if our basketball team started playing like that, people would be begging for a team that lost in the second round. Have a great week, Dave, Graham.
Appreciate it, Dave. Dave, I wanted to ask Dave a question before he gets out of here, but I think I already know the answer because I haven't seen it on social media. I wanted to know if David's on social media because that is such a refreshing perspective. David, are you on social media?
Yes, I am.
Well, you need to be louder and more vocal because too often I see complaints and people tweeting at players, calling them disappointments, calling them failures. And your perspective is the right one in my mind. Florida won the SEC regular season title, which doesn't just get accomplished in 3 days in Nashville. You have to accomplish it over 2.5 months of success. You don't do it very often. There's a reason Florida's done it single-digit times in program history, and they've won 3 national championships. And now Todd Golden has completed the trifecta. National championship, SEC tournament title, SEC regular season title. There's a lot of programs who never sniff success like that. And as a fan base, I'm not saying you shouldn't be disappointed or upset that they lost to Iowa in the round of 32, because the team is too, and as fans, you absolutely deserve to be too. But to say it's a disappointing season, it may have been a disappointing conclusion, but a disappointing season, that's a little bit too much for me. And no one is hurting as much as the players and the coaching staff that they didn't get it done. And they didn't get it done for themselves, and they didn't get it done for the fan base that supported them. And so having that understanding, I hope wish more people had that, or I wish I could see it more on social media, because I see too much crap out there, and I appreciate hearing your perspective, David. Just wanted to share that with you.
All right, have a good day.
You too. Take care. It certainly was a disappointing loss to Iowa. I'm not telling anyone to think otherwise, but disappointing season. Again, too far for me. I was asked the other day, how do I think Thomas Houck and Alex Condon and Ruben Chinilu will be remembered? And I think it will be fondly. No one is going to think of the Iowa loss when they think of them. They'll think of them as champions. That's my take. My take also is that it has not been a disappointing 2 hours with you all here on Sports Scene WRUF. I really appreciate you all having me. I will be back to do it again on Thursday. Steve Russell will be back on Wednesday after the Gators beat those Noles. Fingers crossed. But I'm looking forward to it. Hope everyone else has a great day out there. You got the tailgate later. A lot of great content. For Graham Hall, I'll see y'all later.
This is former Gator quarterback Shane Matthews, and you're listening to the home of Gator Sports, WRUF, 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and 103.7 HD2.
Gator Nation, did you know the UF bookstore, located right inside the University of Florida's Rights Union, is more than just textbooks? That's right. Gear up with officially licensed Gator merchandise from top brands like Nike, Peter Lamar, Lululemon, Columbia, Tommy Bahama, Apple, and more. From game day to every day, we've got the styles Gators love. Stop by the Florida Bookstore at Rights Union. The Florida Bookstore, where Gators shop.
Go Gators! It's lunchtime, and nobody does lunch like Pomodoro Cafe. From Italian dishes to subs and salads, and favorites like their Philly sub with fries, thinly sliced beef cooked to perfection and topped with peppers, onions and mushrooms, and provolone cheese on a baguette.
This is Steve Russell sharing with you one of my favorite lunch spots, Pomodoro Cafe, located in the Spring Hill Publix complex on 39th Avenue near I-75. Enjoy Pomodoro Cafe today.
And don't forget, they cater online at pomodorocafe.com.
Nobody does catering like P.F. Chang's. Elevate your gathering with our buffet-style catering pans. Packed with bold flavors and generous portions of your favorite dishes, we make it easy to serve and even easier to enjoy. From chopsticks to dessert, everything's ready for pickup or delivered right to your door. Choose individual meals, customizable catering packages, or build your own perfect feast. P.F. Chang's Catering. Your feast perfected. Order now at pfchangs.com/catering.
There are plenty of realtors in town, but few work as hard, respond as quickly, or care as deeply as Doreen Wiebe of Caldwell Banker MM Parrish. Community-driven and client-focused, Doreen will work with you to ensure your satisfaction. Whether you're buying or selling, she brings persistence, preparation, and heart to every deal. With Doreen, you're not just another transaction. You're a priority. Call 352-562-1411. That's 352-562-1411.
Gator fans, this one's for you. Introducing Castaway Sauce Company, the hot sauce made by Gators for Gators. Their signature ball kicker hot sauce is inspired by Steve Spurrier's famous kick that beat Auburn in '66. If you love hot sauce with real flavor, not just heat and vinegar, Castaway delivers. Available at select public supermarkets, Castaway Sauce Company is founded by a lifelong Gator and proud UF alum. From mild to wild, they've got a flavor for every Gator tailgate. Grab your Castaway hot sauce today and taste the tradition. Learn more at CastawaySauceCompany.com.
At Comfort Temp Heating and Air, we're proud to celebrate 40 years as your #1 local HVAC company. We offer energy-efficient solutions featuring quality products from Lennox. Whether it's new installation, system repairs, or routine maintenance, we promise to never sell you anything you don't need. Our professional and experienced technicians provide reliable service you can trust and will keep you informed throughout the entire process. At Comfort Temp, comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise.
Looking for the perfect stay in Gainesville? Holiday Inn Gainesville University Center is just steps from the Swamp, the closest hotel to UF. With 6 stylish floors of brand new everything, we've been completely renovated and fully remodeled for your comfort. Enjoy the best guest services in town, competitive rates, and a location you just can't beat. And don't forget about our rooftop pool. Whether it's game day, graduation, or a Gator getaway, make your stay extraordinary at Holiday Inn Gainesville University Center. Visit us online today for details and booking.
From the Spurrier's Gridiron Grill Studio, WRUF Gainesville, W251 CG Gainesville, WRUF FM HD2, and on the